channel. If you're new, please say hello and let us know where you are tuning in from today. Okay, what's going on here? Adjust this a little bit. All right. So, anyways, lot of action, a lot of energy in the air. So again, if you're new, welcome. This is the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message, behind practices like spirit communication, psychic development, and stuff like that. Tarot is certainly a big part of that. A lot of wisdom and a lot of available knowledge is in the tarot, and it's very dark today in the Catskills. It's Sunday, but where's the sun? But it's a beautiful kind of, I don't know, like the energy's a little bit softer today than it's been the last few days. It's kind of a nice, gentle sort of an energy. And did you guys know that every weekday is related to a certain planetary energy? Like Sunday, it's easy. Like Sunday's the sun. And if you know that, you can actually kind of plan some of your activities during the week around the energies of the day, because certain energies are associated with certain days. It's part of collective consciousness. It's part of just the cycles of life. So Sunday's the sun, and this is like a good energy day, even though people tend to relax on Sundays. It's a good warm energy. It's good for love. It's good for families. It's good for getting things done. Monday, you just add a second O and you have Moon Day, right? So Monday is the moon. And I've always found it curious that the workday begins on Moon Day. And when we're in a moon vibration, we really want to go inward. It's very emotional. It's very reflective energy. And yeah, that's why sometimes people have the Monday blues, or people have a really hard time getting going on Monday. However, Tuesday, it flips into the Mars energy. It's the god Tu, I think Tu, a Nordic god. So Tuesday's a good high energy day, but people can get a little bit edgy because of the Mars energy, can be a little bit combative, but it's a good time to get things done. Wednesday is really Woden's day. It's Mercury's day. And that's things tend to move fast in the planet Mercury. There tend to be communication types of stuff, and travel, and a lot of back and forth energy. Thursday is named after Thor, the god Thor, who is Jupiter, basically. So that's Jupiter's day. Jupiter is a very expansive and a very kind of higher mind, expansive type of an energy. And it's really kind of a more of a philosophical time, more spiritual energy. Friday's named after Freya, who's the Celtic Venus. So that's Venus's day. So Fridays, very good for love, good for money, financial types of issues. Saturday is Saturn's day. Things get serious. And on a Saturday, the planet of Saturn, tends to be about things like discipline and things like lessons and growth and grounding energy and practical stuff. So anyway, if you understand the days of the week, you can plan different activities or meetings or whatever, and take advantage of those energies. And again, another example is we're in a full moon cycle. The full moon was Friday night. By the way, we did a very powerful transmission on the channel. We're still in the full moon energy. If you want to get an energy activation, there's it's on the channel. It's the full moon archangel activation. So we're working with angelic energy. So definitely check that out. Very, very uplifting energy. And what else do I have to say? Just touch on a tad bit of astrology. That's not my wheelhouse. I know a little bit about it. Armand Diaz from Integral Astrology Channel already has his weekly forecast out. I did not want to look at it because I didn't want to be influenced by his information, but he goes into detail with the different aspects and what that's doing in collective consciousness and so forth. I do know that I think later today, the moon and Mars are going to be in an opposition. The moon's in Aquarius still. I don't know when, but it's bound to go void, of course, if that hasn't happened already. Um, and you can look that up on an ephemeris. When the moon is void, of course, it's past its last major aspect in the sign, and it's usually a time to chill out until the moon comes into the next sign. So I know that's happening. I know Mars is getting ready to go into Virgo. So a lot of the energy that's been more about like let's have fun and let's dance in the sunlight because Leo's about the sun, and let's socialize and all that starts to go into much more of an analytical energy when when Mars goes into Virgo. And there's a few other choice aspects that are happening. But I think the long and the short of it is, I feel like Spirit saying, yeah, the party's over. It's time to kind of get serious. And I don't want to say that in a negative way, but we still have a lot of work to do individually and collectively, to sort everything out. And one of the reasons I wanted to do tarot time is that I started doing, I think, last summer, last autumn, is just because there's so much change in the world around us. It's hard to keep up with, and there's so much going on in collective consciousness. And we'll see what the cards are saying in a second, but I have a feeling that a lot of the controversy is going to start to it's gonna continue, or maybe even get greater as we go into the month of August, as we wrap up July and go into August. And I know the Olympics has a lot of controversy. There's been a lot of protests. There's a big one in England with the vaccination movements and stuff like that. And I feel like ahead of like the next wave of the coronavirus, a lot of people are rethinking their strategies of how to deal with it. I think a lot of people are coming down to the question: am I putting myself at more risk by getting a vaccine or by being vulnerable to this virus? And that's got to be a personal choice. The expression from Sharita Starr, my other fabulous astrologer, numerologist: stay in your own lane. Do what's right for you, protect yourself, protect others, do what's right for you. But what I'm seeing is that some very qualified. There's actually an MIT article that came out a few days ago, just kind of saying, the people that they call it vaccine hesitancy, that they have a reason for that. They're just kind of saying, they're not saying don't do the vaccine. They're saying there is a reason to maybe do your research and see what's going to be right for you at that time. But the only reason that I'm bringing that up is I feel like in the next 4 to 6 weeks, a lot of this is going to come to a head, and we may start to see some noise around that. And then there's a little bit of drama around the Biden administration last week. So things may be heating up a little bit, and I forgot what it is, but there's another aspect around midweek that can raise some conflict. So anyway, that's my little background. Let's see what's going on with the tarot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a meditation card, and I feel like what Spirit is saying as I'm doing this is you can work with whatever that we pick, because what I do is I set the intention with Spirit to pick the best card for this group. And when I say this group, it's the people that are live, but a good deal more people are going to watch this as a video than are actually live here with us as well. And if Spirit sees anything harder. Oh, okay. I'll just quickly ask that. I mean, when I was asking about the vaccines, the Spirit, basically the message that I got was I'd be okay if I took it, but if I don't have to take it, that would be better for me. Not necessarily for you, but for me. And part of the reason is that I have, I had major heart surgery. Some people, unfortunately, are having heart issues as one of the side effects. And I have autoimmune stuff. Just to try to defuse any tension around vaccines, just remember every medication carries the risks of side effects, some more than others. You just have to do your honest research. That's not mainstream news, nor is that shady. Well, shady's not the right word. I can't think of the right word. fringy is the word I'm looking for, fringy internet sites that either support a right-wing agenda or a left-wing agenda. So you want to stay away from those extremes and really, see what's going on and do some research and trust spirit and see what spirit's saying about that as well. You're welcome, Michael. So tarot is a good meditation tool. I feel like they're saying to always do a little you pick a card in the morning, like pick your own card. If you don't like the card that I'm picking for the week, pick your own card and do meditations on that or with that. Just see what messages that you're getting. Tarot is a wisdom tool. It's a divination tool, but it's first and foremost a meditation and a wisdom tool. And apparently, according to the research that's been done that I'm aware of, they came from basically from esoteric knowledge, and then it started to become more known after Bonifacio Bembo, a Renaissance artist, did these prints, and they made a game called Tarocchi that the court of King Ferdinand II used to play. So that's where playing cards come from also. They come from the tarot cards, but it's really like scholars like Arthur Wade and Israel Regardie and Aleister Crowley and people like that that started to dig a little bit deeper and found that there's a lot of links to the Kabbalistic tree of life, to the Bible. A lot of ancient mysteries are within the tarot. And like anything else, it's all intention. Spirit is everywhere. We're all spirit. We're all connected. At the heart or at the soul level, we're all one, even though in the human physical level, we're all separate beings of that divine wholeness. But the point being, we're all connected to collective consciousness. So when you say your intention, and a lot of people are setting this similar intention, those things gain power. So tarot gains power through belief, through practice, and through basically spirit or magic and mystery. So anyways, I don't know if I'm being a little bit ponderous in my explanations this morning, but I think you get the ideas here. Neptune and vaccine. That's interesting. I missed 11/11 again. But yeah, I think it's an ongoing issue or whatever. I always feel like extreme anything's not usually isn't a good thing. I think we have to really kind of understand the other person's point of view. Not that we have to agree with the other person, but understand their point of view also. Because I think there's valid arguments on either side, and at the same time, there's the opposite. We'll just say with that. So I'm asking Spirit to give us our best meditation card for the week. Okay, so please, Spirit, guide me in the right card. No. Yes. Interesting that I get such a busy card as a tool to basically calm down and relax. Maybe Spirit knew, that some people may not want this, but just generally speaking, 5s are about change and transformation. So the number 5 is also about freedom in numerology. And I feel like one of the messages is not to shy away from being, a warrior, because sometimes we have to be a warrior in life. Sometimes it's really, the battle is internal. It's like our own higher self versus our own physical, personal self or the egoic self and stuff like that as well. And, so that may be part of it. I feel like one of the messages that I'm getting as I'm vibing on this card is that, especially those that are on a spiritual path and meditate a lot, that are very in their upper chakras and very connected to source and spirit, not to view ego as a bad thing. Basically, in fact, I was having I don't know if the person may be in now that I was having a debate with. If not, he'll see this later on and recognize that. And at one point, he said something to the effect that I come across as being egotistical or whatever. And at first I was like, what? Like that was my kind of like reaction, like the ego reaction, like what? But then I thought about it, and I was thinking to myself, I've been doing a lot of personal work to develop my confidence, to develop my presence, to show up in the world as a stronger person. Coming off egotistical is actually a compliment. I was thinking to myself, it's not a criticism, it's a compliment. I mean, everything in balance. But the point being is that in this world, we need to have a strong ego structure. And the problem with that, though, from a spiritual perspective, is that when you're in your ego, that means you're in your form, right? You're in your body. Your ego's part of your survival mechanism. That's why we have emotional reactions to our environment. That's why somebody may piss us off. Somebody may put us into a fear mode. And you're very hyper vigilant in the physical body and what's going on in your physical environment. But that can cut you off from your higher self. And this is where a lot of spiritual discipline comes in, because there's times that you need to be really in your survival instincts, but you can't be cut off from your spirit, right? So when you start to go into a meditation, you expand beyond the body and you expand into spirit or the quantum field, and you really have to be, you have to lose your self-identity in order to expand into these fields, the quantum field, the morphic field, God, whatever you want to call it. And so as the Buddha said, and Carlos Castaneda said this, and of course Joe Dispenza says this all the time, you have to become a nobody. Like, you have to lose your self-identity in order to enter into the higher realms of spirit or the higher realms of energy. So anyways, that's kind of, this card kind of reminded me of that a little bit as well. And so when you go in and to meditate into a card, the way that I recommend doing this is that you kind of, you step in almost like you're opening a door, and then when you come in, you see the whole panoramic view, and you can set the intention, like what, as I'm meditating, like what inner conflicts am I wrestling with right now. So I feel like I pulled this card as our meditation card for all of us to try to work through or understand what our inner conflicts are, because there's been a lot of conflicts in the world, but as the summer and the autumn goes forward, that's going to change. There's going to be more conflict, and we really have to find our sense of inner peace and inner balance. So anyway, that's what I get for the meditation card. Next, I like to do a little 3-card spread and just kind of get a a sense of what's going on with us, with this group, what's going on in the world, how that's affecting us, and everything like that. So I mix them up a little bit. And then bring back into one pile in any order. And that spirit, guide me to the right card. I don't know why I'm seeing like birthday hats in my mind. Well, whatever birthday it is that's on now, happy birthday. This one and this one. Okay. So I've some high-tech tools here for you. Interesting. And the Queen of Cups, and on StreamYard, everything's opposite. Let me see. All right. It's like my screen comes out opposite. All right. Well, you don't have to see my mug. You can see the card. That's fine. I'm hiding behind my cards. All right. Yeah. Very, very different energy with the Queen of Cups and all these swords here, right? But what's showing me is almost like as the week goes on, you're starting out in a place of tension and limitation and going into a place of relaxation and love, basically. And this 4 of Swords, which is the middle card, it's really very contemplative energy. Like like 8 and 4, that combination can bring in a lot of legality. So, some of us may have a couple of legal things that need to be tended to or taken care of, or we may see in the government some laws being passed, or some noise maybe, in the effect of things like maybe passing some new laws, like ahead of the spike that's coming with the new variant of, in this country, in the US anyways. It's already happening in other countries. So, we may see some stuff like that as well. And this 8 is very much about the infrastructure. It's really, the number 8's about law, and about, that could be karmic law. It's often about money, resources, large institutions and stuff like that. The number 4 is very Mars energy, but it's also very grounding energy, and that also can connect with legal, police more specifically than lawyers, I want to say. But being it's the 4 of Swords, it's kind of like in, what's that, hermit's repose, is that the expression? Um, and the Queen of Cups is a really different energy, and I'm really relating this to Friday for some reason. It's Venus's day. The queens are water, cups are water, so the Queen of Cups is water in the tarot. And she's kind of looking at the cup here. She's sort of focusing on the cup, but not necessarily looking at the big body of water around her. At least that's what I'm seeing in the card right now. So if I can bring this up a little bit, you might be able to see what I'm talking about. So she's kind of really focused more on the water inner cup. But meanwhile, I think that's water. Hold on a second. I may be giving you misinformation. I can't eat. Yeah, that's water. Okay. I can't even tell. But she's not really seeing the ocean. So, water represents emotion. And I feel like for this group, and maybe for people in general, really, be observant, be aware of your emotions, your reactions. And this comes up a lot, and I talk about this all the time. So for my regular, sorry to bore you, but we need to really start to learn and develop the ability to not be our emotional reactions, but to learn how to step back and to observe them in action. You can't stop your emotional reactions. Emotion is water. That's like being in a raging torrent and putting your hand up and expecting to stop the water from rushing through you and over you. You just can't do it. But you don't have to be your emotions. You have emotions. You're not your emotions. And when you understand that, you stop being ruled by your emotions, and you can use them as a tool. And different emotions, because they're energy emotions, so different emotions create a different vibration. And the physical world, because it's energy also, has to start to conform and to fit in with the energetic climate that's around you. So sometimes it's very appropriate to be angry. That gives you a burst of superhuman strength. Sometimes you need that. I mean, of course, that should be when you're being chased by a bear, not when you're fighting with your spouse. But that's a whole other story. But that's the thing. So, when you learn how to become the observer of your emotions, you become the observer of your programming, because the programs of society are affecting us emotionally. So however we're programmed causes us to react predictably emotionally to every conceivable situation in life. And of course, however we act emotionally is how we're going to behave. And then the past becomes the future. Like the future becomes predictable because you have the same reactions in the present that you had in the past, and then you carry those reactions into the future. Now, your ego will try to block you, because a lot of these so-called negative emotions are the ego emotions, they're the survival emotions. So your ego is going to make you think that you can't do this, but you can. You have to say, I hear you, ego, but shut up. I'm going to do it anyway. Or what is the text? STFU, ego. I'm going to do this anyway. And Yeah, and it's just a practice for life. And over time, what happens is that you develop new habits, and new habits become new programs, and then the old programs fall away. So I think that's one of the messages she's trying to tell me here. Um, and I feel like the idea is, don't freak out if you feel like your life is limited right now. Um, things still have to sort out. Things may still be inconvenient. Because that's a restriction card, we may start to see things come up in the news like, well, we're not going to let you travel to this country, or if you want to do this, you have to have your vaccine, your proof of vaccine, or whatever it is. There could be a few protests that get a little bit dicey, or stuff like that. You may feel like you're being kept out of or kept away. It's almost like people given a taste of freedom, and then it's being taken away from them. And that's, I mean, basically that's some military style brainwashing when people do that. That they you have a prisoner and subject them to all kinds of like physical discomfort, then give them a warm shower, trying to get the person to talk or do something, and say, okay, your spouse is here to pick you up, take a warm shower or whatever. And then the next thing you know, once you get warm and comfortable, they throw you back in the cell, and that's when the prisoner talks the second time around. That's psychology. So am I saying that there's an agenda behind everything? Honestly, I don't know, but it feels that way to me anyway. That's my opinion. Um, and my take on this and all the other so-called conspiracy theories, some have more validity than others, is it's not that complicated. Follow the money, follow the corrupt flow of power, and understand that for thousands of years, the human psyche has always wanted to control others, and some a lot more than others. And we're seeing that, as we get more high tech, we see that in a more high tech fashion, and we see the control and manipulation being more sophisticated. But at the end of the day, follow the flow of money, follow the flow of power, and at least you'll have a base understanding to approach like what's real and what isn't. Because there's just, in this Aquarian age where we have all this information in the internet, there's so much misinformation also, and it's hard to know. It's just hard to know who to believe. So this Queen of Cups, because she's looking in the cups, that's about intuition also in the water. It's trust your heart, trust your intuition, but also to be consorters of the mind and the intellect, also to do your homework and research and trust what you read. If it's from a reliable source, trust what you learn. But then at the end of the day, have all that knowledge, tuck it away, and ask spirit and trust your intuition. You'll know what to do. You have to get present. You have to be able to be in the moment, lose your self-importance, your self-identity, connect with spirit, connect with the quantum. And if you're able to do that, you'll get the message. It'll be right at 100% of the time. You will know, basically. So on that note, what I'm going to do is finish. Actually, I have my, I started to do animal messages. I'm going to do that in the angel message. Here we go into... yeah. There's a lot. Something that came into my mind this morning is that there was a thing about it's always emails, right? Now, like Fauci and the emails and whatever that supposedly prove that that the virus was made in the Wuhan lab and everything. And then of course they kind of dropped the story, so they kind of left us hanging with that one, but anyways, media is part of the system of control. So I don't think anybody that comes to this channel would debate that so much. I mean, we all have different views. I try to be non-dualistic with this. I'm not like supporting one ideology versus the other. Like the Native American meme, if you've seen that one about the political parties. What if I was to tell you the right wing and the left wing belong to the same bird? And then I said, yep, this is true. I mean, I've done about 40 years of on and off research about this. I mean, there's definitely more to the story than meets the eye, but you can take that up with the conspiracy channel. This is the medium channel. So anyway, so I'm going to ask your spirit to give us the right animal message for today. Our animal totems are part of our spiritual guidance system. And they're part of consciousness. So I always thought when I was growing up, I went through a period of time where I got this impression that everybody looks like some animal, and I was kind of saying, this person looks like a crow, this one looks like a deer, this one looks like a rabbit. So we embody like these different aspects of nature, and if you understand which one do you embody more than the others, you understand a lot more of your inner nature, especially if you understand the nature of animals. And part of it's energetic, but part of it is behaviors, like squirrels gather nuts. So squirrels are about resourcefulness is a good example. Your foxes are very stealthy, so foxes are about camouflage and the ability to kind of be incognito. It's almost like Geronimo. God, I forgot his real name. Oh my goodness. His name wasn't really Geronimo. He had a native name and I can't remember it. But what they would do is they would be in camouflage. They would dress up and look like the townspeople or whatever, and they would infiltrate and get in and then invade the village from the inside out, basically, as well. Cochise, is it? I think it was Cochise. I don't know. I apologize for that. All right. So anyways, I'll see what I take, but I'm seeing like a goose or swans in my mind. Let me see what I'm actually picking. Well, I couldn't be more wrong. Snow leopard. Well, geese and swans can be a part of our animal energy also. The swans are about gracefulness because they have these long, graceful necks and movements. But the snow leopard, and it's very dark. I even have my ring light on. It's midday and I'm resorting to using a ring light when I have a big window in my living room that lets plenty of light in. Take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude. This really supports the message from the tarot, especially the middle card, that Four of Swords. Really, I feel like the message for us, everybody that's watching this live in a video, and myself included, of course, take some time for yourself and make sure you have some time to meditate, to be by yourself, to breathe. I'm a very big advocate of long, deep breathing. We're still in Breath Awareness Month for anybody that's doing the 21-day breath challenge. Let us know how you're doing. Deep inhale, just feel love and light around you. Inhale that into your heart, circulate that exhale, and release tension, stress, negativity, other people's energies. 3 minutes at a time, 3 times a day, you're good to go. You'll handle the stresses of life a lot better just by investing that 9 minutes of your day each and every day. So I always like the big cats. To me, is also about courage and faith and majesticness or majesty. I want to say, well, so I always like feline energy. Again, cats hunt alone, and they're not pack animals. So I've been saying a lot, if you follow my other social medias, about how we absolutely have to be okay being alone. I'm single. I mean, I say that I live in the woods. I mean, I live on the outskirts of a village. I'm surrounded by woods. I'm not isolated. I do have neighbors, but I have been alone for this whole pandemic. And as Wayne Dyer said, you're never alone if you're your own best friend. I'm my own best friend. And therefore, the friendships that I have are really, really good friendships also, because the way you treat yourself is going to affect how you treat others, and more importantly, how other people treat you. So as a medium, I teach people to have good boundaries. You need that in life, but you need that in mediumship also, because if you're a walking doormat in life, that's your vibration and energy. The spirits are going to walk all over you also. And I didn't know this in the beginning. I'd wonder why 3 and 4 in the morning there were spirits talking to me, until I put my foot down and drew some lines between me and them, and created some boundaries in that. So we have to be able to do that. We have to be able to go into our heart and vibrate from our heart chakra, basically. And that's part of being alone. And the irony is, when you're really at your most alone and you vibrated the heart chakra, that's when you expand into infinity. And that's when you realize you never were alone, that you've been connected to everybody and everything all along. So last order business is messengers of the angels as well. Yeah, that's right, Michael. They really are true. You know, it's with what's been happening, it's kind of making me want to like watch the movie Gaslight again. I don't know if that was the 40s or 50s, but that was a classic. Because that's basically what's happening, right? All right, so clearing my mind. I did a video, I think it was last Thursday's upload, about how to work with your archangels. I gave you some symbols and techniques to do that. So if you're interested in angelic work, angels are part of collective consciousness. They're part of divinity. They're part of God, whatever you want to call it. And but they're messengers of the angels. So when you raise your vibration and connect with this level of reality, this frequency, if you want to call it that, they come to you in service, and they're here to help, and they're easy to call upon, and it'll make your life a lot better. So that was a quick like 8-minute video. If you want to check that out, you may get inspired by that and start to work with them more yourself. In the other news is I started a membership program, the Spirit Mind Family. So I welcome everybody in the family that wants to deepen their spiritual practice and you work with me. Now, you don't not have to be advanced, so all levels are welcome, but you do have to be serious. Not serious, to the point of rigid serious, but I think you get that. So that's why I'm making that a paid program, because I want people to be serious enough to invest a few dollars. It ranges from $5 to $33 a month. So we're not talking about handing me your life savings or anything like that, but in that, I have meditation I don't share anywhere else. I have videos I won't share anywhere else, and as well as the Spirit Mind Masterclass. And then we do a Q&A, although it was a bit of a debacle last time. I have to learn the technology, but we do a monthly Q&A. So, if anybody wants to get to know me better and my work and start to do more of the inner work, that's the place to go. So I'll, in the comments, once I get off of this, I'll share the link in the comments. But it's patreon.com/Spirit Mind Family. So if you want to look at that and see if it's right for you, I welcome you to do that. And thank you. Okay, so shifting my focus. So I'm getting out of my ego now, because I think, sometimes, unless I'm channeling, I need an ego to talk and to function, right? I'm getting out of my ego and expanding into spirit. Sometimes just a couple of deep breaths is all you need. Let it all go, expand. Jupiter's going, the kind of expansion is going into Aquarius. It's back into Aquarius from Pisces. So that's going to ramp up, because Aquarius has a lot of that kind of revolutionary, kind of higher mind energy. And Jupiter likes that, because it's a very expansive energy. So, well, I mean, it loves being in Pisces, but it can handle Aquarius also. But I think that's going to stoke the fire a little bit. Get this kind of great awakening and great reset kind of moving along at a faster pace. So they guided me to the top card. We've gotten. Oh, it's Adriana. I said we found Athena before, but it's Adriana, not Athena. This is Doreen Virtue's Messengers of the Angels. So that's what it looks like. Sometimes we get a little bit more from the image than the words. I do believe, just looking at this is really about having faith, because it's kind of like the angels leading her children. and I am leading you toward the answer to your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps I am communicating through your intuition, thoughts, and dreams. So I love it when everything is consistent. Yeah, this has been that kind of a morning. This is very consistent with the Queen of Cups and that energy. Again, go into your Four of Swords, kind of hermit's repose, just kind of get into your meditative state, let the world go for a minute, reconnect with spirit. You start by reconnecting with your heart and your mind and expanding, reconnecting with spirit. And then messages will come, like either through your memories, your thoughts, especially if you're not thinking, you're just being, right? So if you're not in your in your ego or in your personal thoughts, you're basically in spirit energy. So the thoughts that come to you are coming from spirit. They're not coming from like either your what's on your mind or what's being dredged up from your subconscious or anything like that. So trust that, and to put your prayers out there, and be willing, because she's kind of leading them up the stairs. So it's not just the answer to the prayers, but it's also taking them into a higher level or a higher state of consciousness or being. We've had a little bit of ups and downs. I don't know about you guys, but I know my good days have been really good and my bad days have been really bad. And sometimes I'm like, you're talking about like being able to observe rather than be your emotions. I've had a really hard time with that, honestly, on my bad days. So I've been, my spiritual discipline has been tested a lot. So I think that's just part of the energies, but the good days have been really, really good. So it's all there. So I'm just seeing if there's anything else before. I feel like the angels are just saying, as you're stepping up, you just keep, watch what's going on around you. Keep your eyes open. There's always something. It's again born out of the collective consciousness or collective ego. But there's always something that's going to try to pull you off of your path. You just stay in your heart, stay in your center, follow your intuitive guidance, follow your divinity. And if you do, wind up taking a detour, if you do get pulled off your path, recognize it quickly, clear, release, and then continue on your path. So that's the message I feel like they're trying to give us also. And that's it. So it's 11:42. We ran a little bit over. I apologize for that, but we're going to end now. And nothing. Oh, I'm going to Lilydale, tomorrow through Thursday, the spiritualist community in Western New York, teaching a couple of classes, the spirituality behind the message, and then power attunements, which is my program for obviously personal empowerment and actually learning how to properly manifest and properly work with the law of attraction. So I'm teaching those at Lilydale. If you want to find out more about that or Lilydale itself, their website is lilydaleassembly.org. So that's Lilydale Assembly, Lily with one L, lilydaleassembly.org. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Sunday. Peace, blessings, and send you lots of love. I love you, and I appreciate you, and thank you for being here.